Why everyone? You've been pushing yourself, striving, trying to make things work, and yet it feels like the weight of the world is pressing down on your shoulders. You've been carrying burdens that others don't even see, and you're wondering if anyone truly understands. You're tired. Tired of the struggle, tired of the disappointment, tired of feeling like no matter how hard you try, the victory seems out of reach. But let me tell you something today. God knows you're tired. He sees every moment of exhaustion, every tear you've shed in silence, every prayer you've whispered in the stillness of the night. In fact, God has always known, long before you reached the end of your strength, He knew the challenges you'd face, the seasons of weariness you'd walk through, and the battles that would make you question your own resolve. Yet, in His wisdom, He has allowed you to go through this, not because He wants to see you broken, but because He knows what's inside of you. He knows the potential He placed within you before you were even born. You are not just a survivor of your circumstances, you are an overcomer, and God is with you every step of the way. Your tiredness is not a sign of weakness, but a sign of your strength, because only those who are strong can carry what you've been carrying. Your pain is not in vain. It is shaping you, molding you into the person you are destined to become. The process is hard, yes, but the promise is greater. There's a vision inside you that is bigger than what you're seeing right now, and God has not forgotten about that vision. You've been carrying weight that others may never see. You've been walking through seasons of struggle, and in those quiet moments when He's watching, you felt the weight of the world on your shoulders. You've asked yourself, does anyone understand? You've wondered if the pain, the exhaustion, and the hard hatch will ever end. You feel tired physically, emotionally, mentally, and even spiritually. And in that exhaustion, it's easy to think that God is far away, that He's not aware of what you're going through. But I'm here to remind you today that God sees you and He knows exactly where you are. He sees the late nights you spent working to provide for your family. He sees the countless prayers you've whispered when no one else was around, asking for strength to keep going. He knows the tears you've shed in the quiet of the night, the moments when you felt completely alone, wondering if it was all worth it. But in those moments, God has never taken His eyes off you. He sees the burden you carry, the weight that feels too heavy, and He understands what you're going through. You may feel invisible, but you are never unseen by God. The truth is, God doesn't just see your actions, He sees your heart. He understands your weariness, the way it's wearing you down, and how it's making you question your own strength. He knows when you're at the end of your rope, when you feel like you've exhausted every ounce of energy, and yet you keep pressing forward. You might be running on fumes, but God sees your effort. He sees your faithfulness, even when it feels like no one else does. He sees the good that you've been doing in the midst of your own struggle, and He honors that. It's easy to think that God is unaware of your pain, that He's distant from your circumstances. We often go through life thinking that we're the only ones who understand what we're going through, that no one else could possibly know the depth of our frustration or our exhaustion. But God doesn't just see the surface, He sees every detail, every hidden struggle, and every unspoken desire for rest. He sees the weariness that no one else knows about, and He's not indifferent to it. He is not a distant observer of your life. He is present in every moment, fully aware of what you're going through. And while you may feel like you've been abandoned, God is nearer than you realize. God's awareness of your tiredness is not a sign of neglect, but a sign of His deep love for you. When He sees you tired, He doesn't turn away, He leans in. He understands the battles you face, the moments when you feel like you're not enough, the times when you feel like giving up. He is there in the midst of your struggle, ready to provide the strength you need to keep moving forward. He is not only aware of your tiredness, but He also knows exactly what you need to find rest. And rest, my friend, isn't just physical, it's emotional and spiritual as well. God sees that you need more than just sleep, you need peace. You need a restoration that goes beyond your physical body, and that is the kind of rest that only He can provide. In those moments when you feel exhausted and defeated, when you're ready to quit, know this: God's awareness of your tiredness is not the end of the story. It's just the beginning. He doesn't look at your exhaustion and walk away. He sees it and he is moved with compassion for you. He doesn't stand at a distance, he comes closer. God has not abandoned you in your weariness. He has drawn near to you in your moment of need. And while the world may not always see what you're going through, God is always with you, walking beside you through every trial. You may not see the end of the tunnel right now, but remember, God sees the whole picture. He knows the journey you've been on and the one you're still walking. He knows where you're headed, and he is with you every step of the way. The weariness you feel is real, but it is not the end of your story. God sees you in your tiredness, and he will not leave you there. He will give you the strength to rise again, to continue, to keep pressing forward. Your tiredness is seen by the one who created you, and in his eyes, it's not something to be ignored or dismissed. He knows you're tired, but he also knows the victory that lies ahead for you. Keep holding on because God sees you, and he is already working in ways you can't yet see. You are never unseen by God. You may feel like your tiredness is a sign of weakness, but I want to shift your perspective on that. Your weariness is not the end of your strength. In fact, it's a testament to the strength that's been inside you all along. The very fact that you're still here, still pressing forward, is proof that you are stronger than you realize. It's easy to think that when we're worn out, we're broken or fragile. But there is power in persistence, and your ability to keep going, even when you feel exhausted, is the very thing that reveals your inner strength. The world often associates strength with power, with the ability to perform, to always be on top of things, to always have everything together. But the true measure of strength is not about never feeling tired or defeated. It's about how you rise again after feeling tired and broken. Strength is not about being immune to struggle. It's about how you handle the struggle when it comes. You may be tired, but your tiredness is not a sign of failure. It's a sign that you've been in the battle and you've been giving your best. When you're worn out, it's easy to feel like you're not enough, like you're somehow failing because you can't do it all. But let me remind you, your tiredness shows that you've been working hard, investing your energy and giving everything you have. It shows that you've been making progress even when it doesn't feel like it. You see, not everyone can handle the load that you've been carrying. Not everyone can keep pushing forward when it feels like the odds are against them. But you, in your tiredness, have shown incredible strength. Every moment you felt tired is a moment that has been refining you. It's easy to get discouraged when the journey is long and hard, but it's in the moments of weariness that God is refining your character, strengthening your perseverance, and shaping your endurance. Your tiredness is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you're being molded into someone who is capable of handling even greater challenges. There's a strength that is developing in you right now, a strength that will carry you through the next season and the next trial. But you can only develop that strength by enduring the process. Strength is not built overnight, and it certainly doesn't come without a fight. Think about how physical muscles grow. They grow stronger by being pushed to the point of fatigue, only to rest and rebuild, coming back stronger than before. The same is true in life. The strength that God is developing in you is growing through your exhaustion. The trials you face, the fatigue you've experienced, are not for nothing. They are making you stronger. They are teaching you how to stand firm in the face of adversity, how to trust God even when you can't see the way forward. I know it's difficult to see in the moment, but your tiredness is building something powerful in you. It's teaching you resilience, perseverance, and trust in God's faithfulness. It's showing you what you're capable of even when you don't feel strong. Every time you press on despite the weariness, you're proving to yourself that you have a resilience that cannot be broken. You are tougher than you realize, and your tiredness is only a sign that you're moving closer to your breakthrough. The Bible speaks of running the race with endurance, of pressing toward the mark with perseverance. That doesn't mean the race will be easy. In fact, it's often in the hardest moments of the race that your true strength is revealed. You've been running, and maybe you're tired right now, but you're still in the race. And just because you're tired doesn't mean you're losing. Your tiredness is a sign that you've been running with purpose. It's a sign that you haven't given up, even when it's been hard. And that, my friend, is the very essence of strength. You might not feel strong in the moment, but trust that the strength you're building is not always visible right away. Strength isn't just about physical endurance. It's about the heart and mind that refuse to quit, that keep pushing even when the body wants to stop. It's about the courage to keep believing when doubt creeps in. It's about having the determination to move forward, even when you feel like giving up. That's the kind of strength that comes from the inside out. You might be tired, but remember, your tiredness is not weakness. It's proof that you've been fighting, that you've been working, and that you're still standing. You've been in the process, and you're getting stronger with every step. The strength that you're developing now is the strength that will carry you through the next season. So don't see your tiredness as a setback, but as a sign of the power that's rising within you. Your strength is greater than your tiredness. The challenges you've faced have not been in vain. It may feel like you've been walking through a desert, facing obstacles that seem insurmountable, but I want you to understand that these very challenges are the tools God is using to shape you. They are not meant to break you, but to refine you, to prepare you for something greater. Every difficulty you've encountered is part of a larger process, God's process of molding you into the person He has called you to be. The struggles, the setbacks, the pain, they are not the end of your story. They are part of the story God is writing for your life. And in His wisdom, He knows exactly what you need to go through to become the person you were always meant to be. We often look at our challenges as if they are obstacles that stand in the way of our dreams. But in reality, those challenges are the very things that build the foundation for your success. They teach you lessons that no success or easy road could ever teach you. Every time you face a setback, every time you feel discouraged, God is doing something deep inside you. He is developing your patience, your perseverance, and your character. And He is teaching you how to rise above your circumstances, how to keep going when things are tough. And in doing so, He is preparing you for the victory that lies ahead. You may not see the purpose in your struggles right now, but God sees the bigger picture. He knows exactly how your current difficulties will lead to your future success. He is allowing you to walk through this process because He knows that on the other side, you will be stronger, wiser, and more equipped to handle the blessings He is preparing for you. Every challenge is not a roadblock. It is a stepping stone to the greater purpose He has for your life. Think about the way a diamond is formed. A diamond doesn't just appear in perfect form. It starts as a rough stone, and through pressure, heat, and time, it becomes the beautiful, precious gem we all admire. The pressure and heat that it goes through don't destroy it. They reveal its true value. The same is true for you. The pressure you're feeling, the challenges you're facing, they are not there to defeat you. They are there to bring out the best in you. They are revealing your true strength, your true potential, and your true worth. Without those challenges, you would never know the depth of your resilience, your faith, or your ability to overcome. When you face challenges, it can be easy to think that you're being punished or that God has forgotten about you. But the truth is, God doesn't waste anything. He doesn't allow you to go through hardship without a purpose. Every challenge you face is an opportunity for growth, for transformation. It may not feel like it in the moment, but God is using those difficulties to shape you into someone who can handle the blessings He's going to pour into your life. Your struggles are making you stronger, wiser, and more prepared for the future He has in store for you. The process may not be easy and it may not always make sense, but trust that God knows exactly what He's doing. Just like a sculptor works with precision to create a masterpiece, God is working in your life with precision. He's chiseling away the parts of you that are not in alignment with His purpose for your life. He's refining your character, strengthening your faith, and preparing you to step into the fullness of what He has for you. Every challenge you face is part of that divine shaping process. In those moments when you feel like giving up, remember that God is working behind the scenes. He is taking the broken pieces of your life and transforming them into something beautiful. He is using the very things that seem like setbacks to push you forward. He is taking the struggles and turning them into stepping stones for your success. Every difficult moment is a part of your story, and in time you will look back and see how each challenge played a vital role in getting you to where you are meant to be. Your challenges are not there to defeat you. They are there to position you for something greater. They are preparing you for the blessings that are coming your way. Don't despise the process, no matter how hard it is, because God is using it to refine you. The person you are becoming through your struggles is someone who will be able to handle the greatness that God is bringing into your life. So don't be discouraged by the challenges you face today. Instead, see them as opportunities for growth and transformation, because they are making you into the person God has destined you to be. The struggles you face are shaping you for greatness. You may not see it now, but the very things that have worn you down, that have caused you to feel exhausted and broken, are the same things that are positioning you for something greater. The struggles you're enduring, the fatigue you're feeling, they are not signs that you're failing. They are preparing you for your next level, your next breakthrough. God doesn't allow us to go through hardship without a purpose. In fact, sometimes it is the very challenges we face that elevate us. They push us beyond what we think is possible, expand our limits, and prepare us for the greatness that lies ahead. It's easy to get discouraged when things are tough. You might look around and wonder why others seem to be thriving while you feel like you're stuck in the same place. You may feel like you're taking one step forward and two steps back, but here's the truth. The struggle you're facing right now is not in vain. It's part of the process. And God has a way of using your struggles to position you for elevation in a way that only He can. Think of the way a seed grows. A seed must first be buried in the ground, surrounded by darkness and pressure. It's in that dark place that it begins to break open, to push through the soil and to grow. That process isn't easy. The seed has to fight its way through the dirt to reach the light. But it is through that struggle that it becomes a strong, healthy plant. In the same way, your struggles are preparing you for something far greater than you can see right now. They are shaping you, molding you, and positioning you for the blessings and opportunities that God has in store for you. The challenges you're facing today may be uncomfortable, but they are not meaningless. They are giving you the strength, the perseverance, and the wisdom you need for the future. Your present difficulties are positioning you to step into the destiny that God has designed for you. Sometimes the road to success is not smooth. It's filled with detours, roadblocks, and obstacles that seem insurmountable. But each one of those obstacles is teaching you something. They are refining your character, building your resilience, and preparing you for the moment when you will stand in the fullness of your purpose. It's easy to lose sight of that when you're in the middle of a struggle, when you're tired, when the road seems long. It's hard to remember that your current circumstances are not the final destination. They are simply a stepping stone to the greater things God has planned for you. The pressure, the fatigue, the setbacks, they are not here to defeat you. They are here to propel you forward. They are preparing you for the elevation that is coming, the new level that you're about to step into. The Apostle Paul wrote about the concept of perseverance in his letters, emphasizing that it is through trials that we develop endurance, character, and hope. He understood that challenges are not random. They are part of the divine process that prepares us for something greater. When you face challenges, don't see them as setbacks or signs of failure. See them as opportunities for growth, opportunities for God to take you to a higher place. Every struggle is a test of your faith, a chance for you to prove to yourself that you can endure, that you can trust God through the process. Just as a runner pushes through fatigue in order to finish the race, you are being prepared to run your race with endurance. The fatigue, the struggle, the pressure, it's all part of the preparation for the victory. You may not feel strong right now, but God is building a strength in you that will carry you through the next season of your life. He is taking you through the fire to refine you, to purify you, and to position you for the greatness that is coming. The elevation that God has for you is not something that comes easily. It requires preparation, endurance, and trust. But it also requires a willingness to go through the process, even when it's difficult. You may feel tired, but don't stop now. The very thing that is making you weary is the same thing that is preparing you for elevation. The challenges you're facing are shaping you for elevation. The challenges you're facing are shaping you, refining you, and positioning you to step into the next season of your life. Don't be discouraged by the roadblocks or obstacles that stand in your way. Understand that each challenge is part of God's divine plan to elevate you to a higher place. He is working behind the scenes, orchestrating the events of your life, and using every struggle to prepare you for something greater. You may not understand it now, but in time you will see that every difficulty has been a stepping stone to the greater purpose God has in store for you. Your struggle today is positioning you for the elevation that's coming. When you're tired, it can feel like you've given everything you have, and yet there's nothing left to give. You've invested your time, your energy, and your heart into something, and you're at a point where you can't see the end of the road. The weight of it all starts to feel unbearable, and you might wonder if you can go on. But in these moments, when you are at your most weary, I want you to understand something powerful. God is not only aware of your tiredness, He is also ready to renew you. He sees the exhaustion, the weariness, and He is prepared to give you the strength you need to keep moving forward. Your tiredness does not leave you abandoned, but it positions you for a renewal that comes directly from Him. We often think that we have to find our own way to recover, that we must find a solution to our exhaustion in our own strength. But God's promise to us is that He will renew our strength, that He will give us rest when we need it the most. In those moments when you feel like you can't go on, when your energy is depleted and your spirit feels heavy, God is standing ready to breathe new life into you. He is ready to restore your strength, not just for today, but for the journey ahead. It's important to remember that rest isn't a luxury. It's a necessity for our spiritual, mental, and emotional well-being. God didn't create us to run on empty. He knows that we need moments of restoration, that we need time to recharge, to reconnect with Him, and to be replenished. That's why He invites us to come to Him when we're weary. In the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." This isn't just a comforting phrase, it's a promise. When you are exhausted, when you feel like you can't keep going, God promises to give you the rest you need. Not the rest of inactivity, but the kind of rest that re-energizes you, that restores your hope, that refills you with the strength to keep moving forward. Sometimes the exhaustion you feel isn't just physical, it's emotional, spiritual, and mental. You've been carrying burdens that no one else can see, burdens that are draining your spirit. You may have been fighting battles that have left you feeling spiritually depleted. But even in those moments, God offers renewal. He doesn't just give us rest from physical labor. He provides rest for our souls, the kind of rest that refreshes our hearts and minds, that restores our inner peace, and that reminds us of His constant presence. In His presence, you find the renewal you're seeking. When you take time to rest in Him, He doesn't just give you physical relaxation. He gives you the peace and strength that transcends the weariness of your circumstance. It's not always easy to accept that God is the one who will renew our strength. We live in a world that tells us we have to do it all on our own, that we have to be self-sufficient, and that relying on others or even on God makes us weak. But the truth is, we were never meant to carry the weight of this life alone. God designed us to need Him, to rely on His strength to carry us through the difficult times. It's in those moments of weariness that we realize just how much we need Him. And it's in those moments that He promises to come alongside us and lift us up. When we feel like we've reached the end of our strength, He is there to supply what we lack. God's renewal isn't just a one-time event. It's a continual process. He renews daily, offering us fresh mercies and fresh strength with each new day. And as we lean into Him, as we draw near to His presence, He equips us with the energy, wisdom we need to face whatever challenges lie ahead. The more we turn to Him in our exhaustion, the more He fills us with what we need to keep. Renewal in God doesn't mean that everything will be easy. It doesn't mean that the road ahead will be without struggle, but it does mean that we will have the strength to endure, the courage to continue, and the peace to face whatever comes. It means that no matter how tired we are, we never have to face our challenges alone. God's strength is sufficient for us, and His grace is enough to carry us through. So when you are weary, don't be afraid to rest in God's presence. Don't be afraid to admit that you need His strength. Know that He is ready to restore you, to renew you, and to equip you for whatever lies ahead. He sees your tiredness, and He is already preparing the strength you need to rise again. God's renewal is available to you today in your tiredness and beyond. When you're tired, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that you've reached the end of your journey, that you've come to a place where you can no longer go forward. It's easy to let the exhaustion, the weight of life's challenges, convince you that there's nothing more for you, that this is where your progress ends. But in reality, your tiredness is not the end of your story. It's just the beginning of a new chapter. And it's not the moment to give up, but the moment to recognize that you're about to step into a new season, one where God is going to give you the strength and the vision to move forward in ways you never imagined. Your tiredness doesn't mean you failed. It means you've been pressing forward, you've been working, and you've been making progress. Sometimes the hardest moments in our lives are the ones that lead us to our greatest breakthroughs. The challenges you've faced, the struggles you've endured, they have been preparing you for what's ahead. You may feel weary now, but God is not done with you. He's not finished working in your life. The very fact that you're still standing, despite everything that's come your way, is evidence that you're on the verge of something powerful. It's in these moments of weariness that God often does His deepest work. Your tiredness can be the very thing that propels you forward into a deeper level of strength, a deeper level of purpose. It's in our weakest moments that God's strength shines the brightest. When you feel like you can't go on, that's when God steps in and fills you with the strength you need to take the next step. He doesn't leave you in your weariness. He meets you right where you are and lifts you up, carrying you through the storm and onto solid ground. It's through this partnership with God that you can rise above your tiredness and see the possibility ahead. The Bible talks about running the race set before us, but it doesn't promise that the race will always be easy. It tells us to run with endurance, which means we'll face moments of exhaustion, moments when we feel like we can't continue. But those moments of weariness are not meant to defeat us. They're meant to remind us that we can't do it alone. When we rely on our own strength, we'll always hit a wall. Our limitations are rooted, Our procurement confines the path more suitable for the individual position in the speed of complexity. But when we rely on God's strength, we can keep moving forward, even when our own energy runs out. In those times of tiredness, you may feel like you're stuck in a season of waiting, as if things aren't moving as quickly as you'd like. But let me tell you, waiting is not a wasted season. God uses times of waiting and weariness to build something deep inside of us. He uses these moments to shape our character, to teach us patience, and to prepare us for what's to come. When you feel like you're waiting, don't see it as time loss. See it as a time of preparation. God is equipping you with everything you need for the next phase of your journey. Think about the seasons in nature. There are times when the ground looks barren, when everything seems dormant and still, but underneath the surface, something is happening. The roots are growing deeper, and when the time is right, the plant will burst forth with new life. The same is true for you. Even when you feel tired and like nothing is happening, God is working beneath the surface. He's preparing you for a new season. A season of growth, a season where everything you've been through will come to fruition. The challenges, the struggles, and the weariness are all part of the process that leads to the breakthrough. God has never promised that life would be without difficulty. In fact, He promised that we would face trials and tribulations. But He also promised that He would be with us every step of the way. In your tiredness, He is there. In your weakness, He is there. And when you feel like you can't take another step, He is there to carry you. He's not waiting for you to have all the answers or to have everything figured out. Shadua says. He's waiting for you to trust Him in your tiredness, to rely on His strengths, and to believe that He is working in you and through you. You are not alone in this journey. God sees your tiredness, and He is not asking you to carry the weight of life by yourself. He's offering you His strength, His peace, and His guidance to help you press forward. You may feel like you've reached your limit, but God has no limit. He is the one who renews your strength and empowers you to keep moving forward. So when you are tired, don't give up. Don't stop believing. Don't stop trusting, because God is with you. And He is taking you to a place of victory, a place where your tiredness will be exchanged for new strength and purpose. Your tiredness is not the end of the road, it's the doorway to your next level. As you stand at the threshold of your journey, weary but not defeated, remember this: your tiredness does not define you, nor does it determine your destiny. It is but a chapter in a story that is still unfolding, a story where challenges are stepping stones, weariness is transformed into strength, and every struggle leads to growth and renewal. God knows where you are, He knows how tired you are, and He is ready to lift you up, renew your strength, and guide you to the next level. So when you feel weary, don't lose heart. Know that your breakthrough is closer than you think, and the strength you need is already on its way. Trust in the process, trust in His timing, and trust in His ability to carry you through. This is not the end, it is only the beginning of a new chapter in your life. Thank you for taking the time to listen. May you find renewed strength in the days ahead. May you rise above every challenge, and may you step into the greatness that God has destined for you. Good luck on your journey, and remember, no matter how tired you may feel, God is always with you, ready to carry you through to victory. Thank you, and may blessings surround you always.